Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and today in this video I am going to show you how to install and configure System Center Data Protection Manager 2019 step by step full. So as we know, System Center Data Protection Manager, which is known as DPM, is one of the powerful tool which is a part of System Center suite, which is going to be a which is going to provide you the large variety of you can say options to take the backup of your infrastructure. It's include might be a physical machine, virtual machine which is running on a Hyper-V or VMware or cloud like Azure infrastructure. Also, this is going to provide lots of other facilities which is really going to help you, like applications consistency check for the applications like SQL Server database, Exchange server, SharePoint file server, all these. So also we can see here a few of the things which is mentioned, like private cloud protection at scale. So this is very powerful and design tool which can support one of the biggest environment which you can think about. So this is very large. The tool support very large infrastructure also, and it's cloud integrated backup. This is going to be if you integrate with the cloud, like if you sign up for the Azure, and you can configure your Azure account in this, so you can set the backup locally and on-prem and on the cloud also. So it's provide that facility also, like you can set the local backup on your on premises, and you can set the archive backup or a long-term backup on the cloud or like Azure. And also it's application aware backup, which I already told, like the DPM is aware like what application you are running inside your virtual machine or physical machines like Exchange, SharePoint, SQL. So it can predict your application, and it can do the backup in the same manner watch what your basically application is going to support. And central monitoring and reporting, so you can do all monitoring and reporting from one single console, which is DPM console. And also you can do lots of automations. So as I told you, like you can do keep the local backup on your on-site, like disk storage, and you can set your like long-term backup, or the you can say the archive backup on Azure cloud, which is Azure backup recovery vault is a term which Microsoft use for like backup storage on the cloud. So you have all the facility available in one tool only. So if you onboard with the DPM and you decided to go ahead and install the DPM, so yes, definitely DPM is a like a highly capable backup solution which can fulfill your requirement if it's come under the backup related to on-site backup or a cloud backup. So this is my lab environment in this video which I am going to use. So I'm going to make the simple video, like simple infrastructure. We have two servers only. One server is acting as an Active Directory and DNS server, which is basically my domain controller. So win2k19 dc01, and this is running on labshands.com domain. So if I go here, you can see Active Directory and DNS is running on this machine, win2k19 dc01. So this is basically my Active Directory server, and second server is SCDPM 2019, which is my data protection manager server. So you can see 192.168.1.103 is the server IP address, and this is already joined in my domain labshands.com. So if I go here, you can see this is a brand new machine. I have just renamed this and configured IP address and joined this machine in domain. So this is a brand new machine which is domain joined. So you can say win2k19 DPM. So I have these two machines only. So let's start and get the installation for a System Center Data Protection Manager. So the first thing which we need to have is going to be SQL Server. So in this video, DPM support 2016, 17 and 19 SQL Server. So I'm going to install a 2017 SQL Server. So let's get, so I'm going to mount the installation media first. So here if I go, Microsoft SQL. So I'm going to add SQL Server 2017 and see. So we need to install a database engine service and full text and semantic instructions for services. So these two features are required. So from the SQL Server Installation Center, I'm going to click on install and then new SQL Server standalone installation. So this is going to be standalone SQL Server. So click on yes. So I'm going to install in evaluation mode. So click next and then I accept the license terms, click next. And let's check for the update, click next. Now it's going to copy some installation files. So now you can see everything passed. Windows firewall has some warning, we can ignore it. So now, so you can see here later on we need to install and configure SQL Server 2017 reporting services also, and reporting services are not part of this feature. So you can see here looking for reporting services, download it from the web. So I'm going to download it right now. So Microsoft SQL Server 2017 reporting services. So I'm going to download this and now I'm going to select my database engine and full text and semantic extraction for search. Now let's leave the storage installation directory as default, click next. And I'm going to use the default instance names, which is MS SQL Server. So click next. And now I'm going to change this service account name basically here. So you can see later on in my step 4, change the SQL Server and SQL Agent Service to domain based service account. So I'm going to do it now. So I'm going to call it like labs hands-on and DPM admin, and going to type my password. And you can leave the agent service manual, and you need to make sure your database engine service is set to automatic. So good, just grant the permission to perform a volume maintenance. So click next. And now I'm going to add the current user, which is DPM admin, as a SQL Server administrator account. You can see here specify the engine authorities, secure mode, administrator, data directory, and time. So everything you can do it from here. So I'm going to leave everything default, just going to add my current account, which is DPM administrator account. Click next. And this is what this full installation is going to do. So if you need this file, you can go ahead and download it from here to, if you want to automate the installation. So just go ahead and click on install. So now this is going to basically install SQL Server 2017 with these two options. And now the next task is install SQL Server Management Studio. So 2004 in SQL Server 2014 we used to get the Management Studio in the installation media itself. Now it's coming from you need to download separately from internet. So if I go here, install SQL Server Management Studio, it will redirect you to the download page of the Microsoft website. So I already have downloaded this setup. If I go here, you can see I have already downloaded. So I got both SQL Server Reporting Services and SQL Server Management Studio both ready for installation. So once this is done, I'm going to run this installation for SQL Server Management Studio, and then we will follow up the step 3, which is SQL Server Reporting Services. So this is going to take some time, so I'm going to pause the recording. Then once the installation is done, I'm going to resume from there. So now you can see the installation is completed successfully, so we can go ahead and close this, and also we can close this SQL Server Installation Center. So I'm going to close it, and now I'm going to run SQL Server Management Studio setup. So this is basically a kind of, you can say, unattended installation. It's only require one click, which is install. So once you click on install, it's going to install everything at the back end, and it will let you know once the installation is done. It will ask you to reboot the machine. So now you can see we got a SQL Server here, SQL Server 2017, and we are just getting this Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, which is 18.6. so this is good. So once this is done, we will reboot the server and we will follow with the step 3. So I'm going to wait for this installation to be completed. So now installation is successful and the computer required restart basically. So I'm going to click on restart. So this is going to restart my machine. So now we are moved to step 3, which is reporting services installation and configuration. Somehow my machine got blue screen during the reboot, and I just rebooted one more time and it's got successfully booted. So this is good. I'm going to ignore this. So now you can see the machine got rebooted, unaccepted reboot. That's why we got these errors. Now I'm going to restart all the services, which is to make sure everything healthy on this server manager. Yeah, so we got everything good, and now I'm going to on my download folder and installing this SQL Server Reporting Services. So this is going to take some time. So now install reporting services, you can see. So I'm going to install it with the evaluation mode. So click on next. I accept the license term, click next, and install reporting services only. So you need to configure the reporting services. So we'll do it once the installation is done. So I'm going to install it first. So it's going to be installed within less than one minute, I can say. This is very lightweight installation, and now you can see setup completed, and now you can go ahead and restart the computer and run the basically configuration for the reporting services. So I'm going to configure the reporting services, try one time. So now this is my server name and reporting server instance, which is SSRS. So I'm going to connect with this. So now you can see we got running. This is giving me version SQL Server evaluation mode, and this is going to product version name. So I'm good with this. Go on services, and from here let's change it to our service account basically, which is going to be a network service. So make sure network service is selected and click on apply. So this is going to reset the setting. You can see going to start the reporting services this, and task completed successfully. So this is applied now, and now you need to go to web services URL, and you can see the virtual directory already created. So I'm just going to type here you can say _DPM, and now I'm going to click on apply. So this is going to reset the URL for reporting services web service URL. So you can see waiting for reporting service. So since the service is restarted, now we can go ahead and now create the reporting server database. So you can see for current report server database we don't have anything, so I'm going to create a brand new. So when you click on change database, you will see existing database or create new. So I'm going to create a new database. So next, and this is going to be a current user with integrated security, and you need to test the connection. So test connection succeeded, so we are good. Now I'm going to click on next and going to call it like report server, or you can see call it dpm reporting db, and leave this leave the language to English. Else if you want you can go ahead and change it. So reporting report server mode is going to be native. Click next, and this is going to be a what type of credential you want to use, service credential or Windows credential or what. So I'm going to use the service credential itself, so click next. So we are good to go and create the database. So now you can see verifying database SQL. So it's going to take some time to create a database and do the needful. So I'm going to launch now SQL Server Management Studio. So everything is succeeded now. You can see all the tasks is completed successfully, and now it's going to restart the database. Start service for this is done. So now we can basically go on web URL, which is final page, and I'm going to call it _dpm and just click on apply. So you can see the reporting service is started on this. So now if you want to set up additional things like email, encryption key, and other setting, you can definitely go ahead and set it. And also if you want to use the scale out, you can do it. So I'm done with this. Just close it and go on SQL Server Management Studio. I'm going to connect to see my database for this service. So now you can see here we can see dpm reporting db is created and tempdb is also created. So we are good, and now we are on final stage, which is install System Center Data Protection Manager 2019. So now I'm going to copy the setup here. So I'm going to extract this setup, so just double click on it, and then it's going to ask you the path where you can extract the file. So I'm going to leave the default, which is C System Center Data Protection Manager 2019, and just click on extract. So it's going to create a new folder and going to copy all this required setup there. So now we are on step 5, which is install System Center Protection Manager 2019. So just wait for this to be finished. And during the installation, sometimes it's required to reboot your machine, so don't worry about it. So I'm going to run the backup. So System Center 2019 Data Protection Manager, and when you click on Data Protection Manager itself, it's going to run the setup. And also you have other thing like if you want to only install a dpm central console, dpm agent, remote administration, self-service recovery, and the dpm remote SQL prep if you are using a remote SQL database. So welcome to the Data Protection Manager. Click next, and now we are going to use the standalone SQL Server. So I'm going to type the name of our dpm server, which is win2k19 dpm. So when you click on username, it's going to detect like this is local server, so it's going to does not require username and password. So just click on check and install. So now this setup is basically going to do some installation at the back end, which is basically you can say the prerequisite for the Data Protection Manager. And once those are done, it's going to ask you about the restart, and also if you are missing any configuration or you have configured anything incorrect, it's going to give you error here, so you can fix those issue and proceed with the set. Now you can see the checking dpm report server URL is accessible, which we have already created these backups. So this is good. So it's going to take few more seconds to get the show you the result of overall like pre-request check, and then we can proceed further. So now you can see please wait while Windows required component will be installed. So it's going to now require a reboot since it's going to install something. So you can see here the missing prerequisite has been installed. Restart your computer and the setup again, and else everything is looking good. The only thing, SQL Server agent service is not configured to automatic, so let's do that so we will not have any issue. So I'm going to on SQL Server agent, and I'm going to set it to automatic. Click apply, and that's all. This is what we need. And now I'm going to reboot the server and we'll run the setup again. Hopefully next time the server is going to pass everything and our installation will begin. So since it's installed few features, it's going to ask you to reboot the server during the DPM server installation. So it's going to take one more reboot since it's installed Hyper-V related features. So now we are good to log in. I'm logged in with the DPM administrator account, and the server setup is automatically going to run, I guess, or data protection manager setup. And if it's not going to run automatically, we can go ahead and run it manual. So just go ahead and run the setup again. So data protection manager, click on install, I accept. Click next, and then standalone SQL server, type the server name for the SQL server. In our case it's local. Now check and install. So now I think everything is going to be passed successfully, and we will proceed further with the installation itself. So setup will use the current user credential for SQL Server instance. So we have DPM administrator having rights. Okay, we got error because the services is yet to be started. So I'm going to restart these start these services manually, and then we'll try to run the setup again. So now everything is good. Our dashboard is green, and now we can go ahead and check one more time since the SQL Server service was not running that time. So yes, check now, and you can see it's processed with the further task. So checking the report server URL accessible. So it's going to take few more seconds, I guess. So everything is passed, and now this computer meets the software and hardware requirements for DPM. So you can go ahead and click next to begin the installation. So you can type your details here like username and other details. Click next, and now you can see the installation path and how much system drive it's required. It's required approx 1 gig, and program drive required around 3.5 gig. So we can go ahead, click next, and I'm going to use the Microsoft update which is recommended. This is the details, and click on install. And now this installation is going to take around 10 to 15 minutes on my configure like my on my machine, which is running with the 4 core and I guess 16 gig of memory. So it's going to take some time, so I'm going to pause the recording here, and once the installation is done, we will log in and verify the System Center Data Protection Manager installation post installation task. So I'm going to pause the recording for now. So now you can see Data Protection Manager installation completed successfully. We can go ahead and close this. Now we will see two icons on desktop. First one is going to be our traditional GUI console, which is going to be this kind of Data Protection Manager console, and second one is going to be our DPM PowerShell or DPM management cell, you can see. So now you can see I have logged in successfully on my System Center Data Protection Manager console. If I go to management, you can see here we got all the options like you can register for the Azure cloud registration, you can register your server, you can go with the local storage which is going to be available on on this server. You can attach the tape libraries also, so everything is available. And as discussed in the first screen, you can see here the central monitoring and reporting. You can get it from here. You can do the recovery from this console, so everything is available. So this is one of the powerful tool if you are thinking about the backup tool. So this is how. And last thing, you can verify from here, program and features. You can see data protection manager installed and everything is looking good. So this is all about how to install System Center Data Protection Manager DPM 2019 step by step. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe me for more videos. And if you have any query, any question related to this, you can always post to me on my given mail IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.